You know, in today's modern world, everything is accelerating so fast, it's easy to get overwhelmed with your emotions, especially related to finances. Today we're going to talk about financial self-perception. And I wonder, what is your financial self-perception? Maybe you don't even really know. Well, I'm going to ask you a hypothetical question. What if there was an alien from another planet and came and asked you, what is your financial class in your society? What would you say? Let's say you don't even know what to say. I mean, maybe you make $20,000 a year in the United States. You could say, I make well below the median income in my country. Or you could say, I'm in the top third earners on my planet. So both would be true. It's all in the way you frame it. Let me give you another analogy. Let's talk about stocks. Okay, so a company has a stock on a stock exchange, and the value of that stock actually does not reflect the amount of money they have in the bank account or their current assets. It reflects their future earnings potential or the projected earnings they're going to have in the future. So what is your perception of your current financial value? Is it based on the amount you have in the bank account right now? Or is it based on what you predict, what you hope, what you expect for your future? So, you know, there are a lot of thoughts and emotions that come up during every tiny interaction related to finances. And most of our beliefs related to finances are like an iceberg. They're just a small amount that are above the surface in our conscious mind, and most of them are way below the surface, and we're not really that aware of it. So I want to teach you a few techniques so that you can become more aware of your emotions and your thoughts and beliefs related to finances, so you can become more proactive and be more of a creator of your life and your financial situation, rather than a victim who's always reacting to financial circumstances. So let's take an example of a tiny interaction. Since there are so many interactions in the day that are related to finances, let's take a simple one. Most people go out, they get a cup of coffee, and they may not even notice that they had an emotional or financial response to that financial interaction. When you go to a coffee place and you see the price, and you see the price of the one you really like, okay, you really want it, what is the feeling, what is the thought that comes up when you see that price? What about when you hand the money over to the cashier? What's your feeling, what's your emotion, and what's the thought that's occurring in your mind when you're handing over the money? Now, you might not be aware of it right now, but the next time you go and buy something, I'd like you to take note. And in fact, I encourage you to create a financial journal so that you can really start to objectify and identify all of the thoughts and emotions related to your finances. So related to the emotions that come up, there might be some strong ones. It may not be for the coffee, but it might be for those bigger interactions, those bigger financial transactions like paying your mortgage or some kind of big payment. So if there's an emotion, I want you to start to become aware of your body, okay? Aware of where it's physically located in your body. Okay, it could be a tightness, it could be a contraction, it could be a change in the way you breathe. It could be something muscular. It could be something that has a tone of fear or anger. It could be a lot of different things. You might feel guilt. So to identify those emotions can really help you to process them, release them, and to reprogram yourself. So I just want to teach you how to process these emotions and release them, because if you don't, then you're going to store them in your body and they're going to result in mental and physical problems in the future. And they'll just keep on getting re-triggered if you don't reprogram your beliefs that trigger them. Okay, so the next time you have that feeling, you're writing that big check, you're letting go of that $100 bill and you don't really want to let go of it. Okay, what is the feeling? Where is it located? Okay, is it a tightness? If it's a tightness, relax into it. You can consciously relax the tightness. Breathe into that area, okay? Slow down your breathing rate. Focus on the breathing. There will be thoughts that come up. Become the observer of your thought, okay? Do not refuel that thought, because an emotional response physically lasts about 90 seconds, tops, okay? According to scientific research. So, if you can just allow that emotion to pass, I know it's not a fun experience. There's that kind of knee-jerk reaction to stuff down and tighten up when you feel that nasty emotion. But if you can relax into it, breathe through it, let it pass after 90 seconds without refueling it with a negative thought, then you can process it and you can get to the thought part. Okay, so let's talk about how to deal with the thoughts. Okay, so maybe you're having a thought, could be a simple thought like, I can't afford it. Okay, it's a thought and something that people even say out loud, and I would never encourage you to actually say out loud that you can't do something. It's very limiting. But let's say that the thought comes up, okay, then we can work with it. So you really believe it. You really believe that you can't afford a cup of coffee or your own mortgage payment. So let's identify, you've already identified negative references or examples of how that's true. Let's flip to the opposite, okay? What are examples you can afford the coffee, okay? So you actually have to go through the thought process, come up with an actual specific example so that your brain can say, oh yeah, there's another possibility. There's another way of looking at this. You had a narrow perception, and now you're kind of broadening or widening your perception. So, what's another example of how I can afford this coffee? Well, I technically have enough money to buy it. You could reframe it. You could say, I can afford it, but I choose not to buy it because I prioritize other things more. Okay? So you can do this with all kinds of thoughts and beliefs. If you're creating a journal, you can write down everything related to it, like I can't afford, it's too expensive, anything related to fear. Now, I want you to be aware that with finances, this is something that's very primal. Okay, we get really into our survival instinct of fight or flight when it comes to this stuff, related to our jobs, our boss, our work environment, finances, resources, everything related to staying alive and surviving can really kick in the fear response. Okay, so becoming aware of it, using the techniques that I taught you related to the physical, relaxing and breathing, and then writing down, creating that journal, and then questioning those beliefs, coming up with specific examples that your brain can use to realize there's another way of looking at this. And pretty soon that narrow focus that you had will start to widen, and your physical circumstances will start to reflect your new perception. And that's the magic. That's when your life can really start to open up with abundance. And you're going to see that just because now you're saying, I can afford, all of a sudden you can do things that you didn't think you could before. So I want to encourage you to use these techniques and to go out and be a creator, not a victim of circumstance, but someone who uses their free will and their choice to react to their emotions and their thoughts in a proactive and creative way. I hope you found this helpful, and go out there and become more abundant today. Thank you.